Hey, what's going on, guys? So something very awesome, a little bit unexpected happened today. I finally got some component cables for my Dreamcast. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I love upscaling. I have a really sweet setup that I'll show you a little bit later on, just to show you everything I have going on with it. But one of my big hang-ups has been the Dreamcast. Now, in America, we basically got composite cables only. Or you could hook up like a VGA thing requiring a box, pretty expensive, hard to get. So on the channel quite a while ago, I got some cables that I bought from Retro Gaming Cables, which is a UK-based company that made SCART cables. Now, for us here in America, SCART is not a thing. But over there it is, and it's great. And since I had a FrameMeister and I had a way to plug in the SCART cable, I got it. I showed off some comparison shots there. It was a great cable, it's really awesome. But my new setup has a lot of HD RetroVision cables, all component cables, with a really snazzy switcher. Once again, I'll be showing that here in a second. But the big issue is there is nothing like that for the Dreamcast. Now, HD RetroVision said, hey, we're going to be making a cable for the Dreamcast, a component cable, and it's going to be powered by the RetroTink. Basically, have a little processor in the base of it. You know, they've been saying that for like, I don't know, like 3-4 years, maybe even longer. And you know, and no offense to them, I'm sure stuff like this is very hard to make. But this is one of those you snooze, you lose situations. And I'll tell you, Retro Gaming Cables decided to make their own. So I got one in. I cannot wait to check it out. I've been waiting for something like this for quite a while. And the cool thing is the order came up and they said they had all the parts in hand and they're gonna make them immediately. So I ordered it like 2 weeks ago and I just got it shipped in from the UK literally like right now. So let's check out what this cable looks like, just so you can kind of see it. I'll show you my setup and how it's plugged in. So I can play it. I have my setup. I can play it on the CRT and I can play it here and stream it, or have it on my flat screen behind me. It's really quite a fun setup. But then we'll compare the two shots. Basically what we got here in America being you know, the composite situation compared to what you're gonna get with these cables. And then just kind of talk about our thoughts about it. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and start looking at these guys. So this is what you get. I mean, hey, component cables for the Dreamcast. I swear I never thought I would see the day. I do like that they have the little bit on there powered by the RetroTink, but just like the Pack-a-Punch SCART cable, you can see when you get a little bit closer here that there is the little toggle switch where you can switch it to the 480 mode or off the 480 mode. So this thing's pretty sweet. But let's check out some comparisons. We're going to start off with the baseline and we're going to do regular old composite. The huge advantage now is I have all of these consoles, every dang one of them except for the 3DO, hooked up to one master switch with two outputs, one going to this TV and one going to the FrameMeister, which goes through the wall, where I can record and play everything in my office setup on the desktop. So that is awesome. But now let's kind of see what goes on comparing this to the original cables that came with the system. So kind of like when I did this a long time ago with the Pack-a-Punch cable, you know, I'm going to start off with composite, and as you can tell, it's a little bit blurry. The text is kind of blurry. You know, this would be essentially if you had, you know, your composite cables, your standard red, white, and yellow, plugged into like one of those like little upscaler box things, or like $10 that actually don't do anything. It's more like a pass-through. Going into HDMI and into your flat screen TV, it looked like this. Kind of clunky, kind of the colors are a little, you know, not crisp, we'll say. One thing that really just makes this stand out, besides the fact that everything's blurry and you can just see that it's inherently blurry, one thing that really, you know, is of note that shows how kind of lower the quality is here is like just the text in general. Text seems to just be a lot blurrier. It's easier to kind of like, it really stands out as far as something that is, you know, something that's not quite right. But I mean, you know, once again, for some people, this is fine. And I'm, you know, nothing against that. But, you know, other people want something a little bit better. So let's go ahead and swap over. I'm going to show a little bit of gameplay here. Let's go ahead and swap over to the other cable. Let me get to the other side of this bridge. And I'll let you know what I'm talking about here. I mean, you'll see it pretty immediately, I would think. But regardless, you know, this is once again, this is your standard inputs that came with an American Dreamcast, just essentially plugged into a modern TV. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and switch it up. Immediately, you can see it's much more clear. I will say that I totally forgot I had the scanline feature on my FrameMeister. So, you know, whatever. I personally like that. I don't think I had it on when I didn't run through the FrameMeister when I had the component going. But either way, I mean, you can just see everything's much easier to read. Everything looks much crisper. Everything looks much sharper. Realistically, this is very similar, and rightfully so, obviously, to their SCART cable they did, the Pack-a-Punch cable. But I mean, you know, it's the same technology, it's the same people. It's just one is really meant for us, the convenience of what we usually use here in America, and one was more obviously for Europe, SCART being the Europe one. But I mean, you know, just everything, the colors look so much better. Everything just looks smoother. I'm just rewatching the footage as I record this, and man, personally, I really, really love it. But, you know, once again, let's let some gameplay do the talking. Look how crisp the lettering is. It's amazing. Whew, anyway, yeah, if you're playing through an HD TV, this is the way you have to do it, with something like this. I mean, once again, the difference is a little less noticeable on a CRT, but if you have a good CRT that uses composite, or rather component, then you definitely want to use something like this, because, you know, it will be very, very nice. And then, of course, with my setup, it's a no-brainer, right? Because, you know, I have the big crazy Switch, and the Switch does better when everything is working better together. But I mean, just in general, this looks really crisp. God, it looks so smooth. But let me know what you guys think. I obviously have you know, and you know, this is an honest review, right? Because I didn't get this for free. I bought these, but I'm a little biased because I really like upscaling all my stuff. But this to me is like the way the game was meant to be played. This kind of looks like, you know, how nice it looks on the upgraded like Xbox and PlayStation 3 versions of the game. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to show a little comparison shot now just to have them side by side. Let you guys be the final judge and jury on this one before we wrap up. I mean, to be quite honest, I think it is the same quality, which it makes sense, as their SCART cable. It's just something for us here in America to much easily use. You know, it's kind of cool because they have a SCART switcher like my component switcher, but once again, you know, for us here in America, it's not common to us. Like, we'd have to get that and then put it into something to go out into HDMI or something of that nature. And now it's super convenient. I highly recommend these cables, but hey, don't take my word for it. I think that footage I just showed speaks for itself. Let me know what you guys think down below. Is this something you're interested in? I had mine plugged in through my FrameMeister just for the sake of recording, but most, not all, but most TVs nowadays have a component input, or at least the ability to have a component input, so you can plug it straight in. It's gonna look leagues better. Once again, let me know what you guys think below. I think these cables are the bomb, but that's just me. I'd like to know what you think. Hey, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do. It would be fantastic. But as always, my friends, take it easy.